She's only about 115 right now. She's 76 years old.
Okay. Well, she needs to get on one Alex pack per month, divided in half. That's one half of the dose of each of the 3 products at breakfast and dinner. I want her to have 12 eggs a day. She can have 4 with each meal, poached or soft-boiled or soft scrambled in butter, not fried or over easy. She needs to get off of all gluten, no wheat, barley, rye, or oats, no processed meats with nitrates and nitrites, no oils, absolutely no sugar. And I would also have her take the de-stress capsules. Have her take 3 of those twice a day, or 3 times a day, 6 a day. That's 2 bottles a month of the de-stress capsules. Have her take what we call the Smart FX capsules, 3 of those twice a day, or 3 times a day. That's 2 bottles a month. And then she's going to be a new woman. I've seen people with terminal Parkinson's disease. I mean, they were told to be put in hospice. They were being fed with G-tubes. And within 3 months' time, they're perfectly normal. Guy's name is David Dietrich's, very wealthy man in Moose Jaw, Canada. And this is written up in Canada. I'm telling you, we've seen so many, literally hundreds and hundreds of people with Parkinson's disease actually go back to normal.
What is causing the epidemic of neurological disorders, not just Parkinson's, doctor? Thank you, caller.
Yeah, well, MS, Parkinson's disease, Lou Gehrig's disease, the 4 different dementias, and this is primarily caused by doctors getting people on statin drugs, not telling them they need the Alex pack, and they're not getting the nutrients in the food because, as you pointed out, very, very well done, Alex, that we used to put bone meal in our bread. We used to put the wood ashes in our garden, and wood ashes are the minerals that the trees sucked up out of the ground. And since we're not putting our wood ashes in our gardens anymore because we're using electricity and propane and natural gas, and we're not putting bone meal in our bread anymore, we're not supplementing because doctors said don't supplement, and we're using the statin drugs to lower cholesterol. Even the FDA came out 2 months ago, Alex, and said that cholesterol-lowering drugs, statin drugs, actually cause Alzheimer's disease. They actually came out and said that 2 months ago.
And I remember having Dr. Blaylock on 6-7 years ago saying it. And how long have you been saying that?
I said that first in 1971.
Wow, Dr. Wallach, you really are impressive. I'm not just saying that. And again, folks, this is real information. And again, this is trying to keep you from getting sick instead of just treating the symptoms of the problem that you've got from a deficiency. And the information's at InfoWarsTeam.com. Dr. Wallach, thank you so much for spending so much time with us today.
Well, thank you so much, Alex. You're a blessing to the world. You're a blessing to America. God bless you, and God bless America.
Well, thank you, my friend. There goes Dr. Wallach, and I've got a big group of news stories I want to go through here today. China buying oil from Iran with yuan. That's a big item. I got a bunch of others that I'm going to get to here in just a moment. I'm sorry to those other callers. We just ran out of time here. I went for like an hour and 40-something minutes with him because it's so interesting. Because so much of what he was already talking about, I already know from, the old folk, wives' tales, common sense. And, grandma says, take your cod liver oil. And you won't, I mean, it's simple stuff like that. And the system knows this. And so they're deploying systems to make us docile and sick. And you can see we've gone from the healthiest in the world to the most unhealthy. I mean, we lead the world in everything bad. And it's because the New World Order hates our guts. And they attack us militarily through covert means. This is an infiltration. And that's why I've really gotten behind this, because I've seen the results. When I start seeing results in something, I get behind it. Now, this first thing that I mentioned at the start of the show, here it is. It's up on Infowars.com. I'm not going to play it all, but it's so sick. In fact, me and Aaron talked about this last night. I was saying the headline should be Rap Video Glorifies TSA Sexual Assault. That's what it does. But Aaron's headline is Rap Video Glorifies TSA Groping in Sexy Pat-Down Fantasy. And it's amazing. This is what's on mainline TV. And it shows the TSA sexually groping people like it's fun. And I see this all over TV. They're glorifying it. They have shows where it shows the Hollywood stars being groped like it's a gladiatorial, fun to laugh at them. In fact, will you bring me that Busted magazine in? I bought it at the store this morning. I meant to show that. All over the U.S., they have local magazines and newspapers where they, where they make fun of people. Yeah, that's not it. I had the whole thing. That's just a sliver of it. Well, it doesn't matter. Or maybe I left it in the car. This is somebody else's Busted. These are everywhere. And on the cover, it's Busted, and it comes out every week, and everybody laughs at it and makes fun of all the people that have been arrested like they're already guilty. they're turning all this into a giant spectacle. And they're telling police, arrest people for no seatbelts, whatever. Get them in the system. Train people to be used to being touched. That's what the TSA is doing. So here is some short clips. I'm not going to play the whole thing. Sex, alcohol, and wild power grabbing TSA agents. A hip-hop video from rapper Sean Paul plays out a fantasy celebrating the TSA's sick policy of molesting law-abiding passengers as a sexy pat-down. And now they're coming out and saying that get ready for more invasive because they stopped another underwear bomber, but instead of having a show trial and witnesses seeing the government get him on the plane, they just say, we don't know where he is or where it happened. This just happened, and Obama covered it up because he didn't want to brag about it. Now they're going to have an investigation of that to make it look like they're covering up how they're keeping us safe. I mean, the stuff they cook up, the folks that ship guns into Mexico to blame the Second Amendment, or who get paid off publicly to let Wall Street rob us, that's in the news today. Let's go ahead and go to a short clip of this video. Here it is. That's not even the worst part. The worst part's at the start, where they're drinking all the whiskey, and then the TSA people have the paddles, and they're going to paddle them. In fact, don't even show that. Don't even show that with a family audience. This is part of the total acclamation we're going through as a country. Rap video glorifies TSA groping in sexy pat-down fantasy. That's at Infowars.com. Stocks fell a couple of percentage points today on news that, that they're going to raise taxes on the rich, but that's just a front, folks. The ultra-rich are the ones that are actually going to get that money in banker bailout. So we've got those reports as well. This is a big one on the global economy front. China buying oil from Iran with yuan. When Iraq or Libya tried to get people together to come out with a gold-backed dinar, it was over. Well, how are the globals going to go after China when they're the biggest owners of our fake debt? So there's all this globalist double-crossing going on. Again, I don't trust the Chinese bloodthirsty leadership any more than I trust our scumbag leadership. So we're in deep trouble. This is BBC News. China buying oil from Iran with yuan. China's buying crude oil from Iran using its currency, the yuan. An Iranian diplomat has said oil transactions are usually settled in dollars. And all over the world, folks are moving away from it. But U.S. sanctions make it difficult for Iran to accept payments in U.S. currency. Iran is using the revenue to buy goods and services from China. Mohammed Raiz Fayed, Iran's ambassador to the United Arab Emirates, confirmed China is the biggest buyer of Iranian crude oil exports. So they buy around 20 to 30 billion each year. So that is a big move away from the dollar as the devaluation continues. But everything's fine because we have a good government that cares all about us. Here's another report. CIA bomb plot. Get ready for new invasive airport screening. They're now talking about butt bombs, and they may have to do a proctology exam, but only with some of us. So now the TSA gets to actually physically rape you. We'll be right back.
In an emergency situation...
Yeah, in Australia, they're talking about chest x-rays because they might have breast bombs. And now they're talking about, last week, they may have to do... behind closed doors, bigger, more invasive checks in case you have a bomb inside of you. I mean, this is ridiculous. And then somebody might bomb the outside of the airport. So now they're saying have checkpoints there. And then, there might be a bomb on the highway. Well, let's just have a checkpoint there. It's ridiculous. And then the main Al-Qaeda openly works for the globalists. And now they've had this new CIA derails plot with Al-Qaeda underwear bomber. And then I actually heard this morning on Fox Radio News, they go, no one knows where he is or where he went or who he is, really. But they stopped him. Underwear. More sophisticated firecracker bomb. And everybody's supposed to just roll around in fear and go, don't get me, not the deadly underwear bomb. This is getting so ridiculous. Separately, for all you young people out there in this brave new world, it's fun. I read about young people every day going out, even middle-class rich kids, stealing, shoplifting like it's fun to do. Now they're trying to move databases over where they're going to have your juvenile arrest on there, and you're not going to be able to get jobs in the new police state. So I'm telling young people, the culture says it's cool to do stuff, don't be part of it. Woman fired from job at Wells Fargo for shoplifting in 1972. That's Fox News out of Milwaukee. She's 58 years old, and she says she stole a couple dresses when she was right out of high school to get a job, and she doesn't have a criminal record since then. But you know why she really got fired? She lied on the questionnaire. But the other issue is they probably wouldn't hire for that. The military will take all sorts of people, but they won't take somebody if they've got bad credit, because they believe, or they're even kicking them out for that because they believe then they'll steal if they don't have money. It's all part of this immoral society where everything just starts degenerating. And as we put more and more people in prison, they come out with no future except crime. And that's why we have the most crime in the world here per capita. Even worse than Mexico. 7+ million people behind bars. Double what China has. And China has 1,300,000,000 people. We have 310 million. And we have double. China is 1.3 billion. We're at 310 million. What is that, 3-4 times our population? That's 4 times. Over 4 times. 4 times our population. And they've got half people in prison. Ladies and gentlemen, this system is broken, but it's meant to be broken for the corrupt, but it's wrecking the society. It's totally wrecking the society. Some of the other news that we've got up at GCNlive.com. Diabetic girl, $10,000 insulin pump ruined by radiation from TSA body scanner. And boy, the reports are pouring in. This just broke at Infowars.com and GCNlive.com of massive cancer clusters, especially at Boston Logan with these TSA workers. But the government, just like they tell the troops DU safe or Fukushima safe, they're like, it's safe. And I've actually had a TSA guy go, there's no radiation coming off these. These are safe. And I'm like, what, John Hopkins? I go, John Hopkins didn't issue that study. That's a lie. Just like you don't grope people. Well, this is my, what did he say? My administrative right. It's so sick what we put up with. And it's getting us ready for the big story we've been breaking here. It's finally starting to get some traction. Army field manuals for domestic re-education camps here in America. And they're like, don't torture, just gag them. That is torture. Just like tasers are non-lethal. No, their real name is less lethal, and they're killing a bunch of people. See, they play all these semantical games. But I call it like I see it. Nightly News Tonight, 7